I mean, listen, we're talking about practice.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I am very excited to talk about sports!
Hey everybody, Nick here with the Wednesday Night Sports Podcast. Yes, that's right. We are the Wednesday Night Sports Podcast. From now on, with the winding down of AAF, we are going to be branching off into other sports. We still love the AAF, but we've decided that it is in our best interest to expand the brand. And with that, how's it going, Logan?
I'm doing great. I'm not going to give you an announcer voice this week because my voice isn't really working, for like my usually exciting thing I usually do. My Moro Ronaldo voice, but I'm doing good. Ready to talk baseball in the tournament and Gronk retiring.
Excellent. And we have a special guest this week to talk about March Madness and MLB. How's it going, Matt?
I am doing awesome. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for being on the show. I'm a big fan of Brothers in Jesus Christ fan club.
Yes, that's a very great fan club, and we're accepting membership now as well.
Excellent. I would like to be the first person to be inducted into the Brothers of Jesus Christ Hall of Fame.
Formerly known as the Hoobastank fan club.
Next would be the Hootie and the Blowfish fan club. I'm just saying.
Darius Rucker, shout out.
We can arrange for that.
They got a special place in my heart. And then Alex will be joining us later for AAF. So we'll go ahead and get things started with MLB. Opening day is on Thursday, 3/29. What are y'all's most exciting? I'm gonna try that again. What are y'all most excited about for this year of baseball, outside of Ken Griffey Jr. obviously coming back as a cyborg and winning the Cy
Young
Award?
I think I'm most excited. I'm really excited to see the American League East. And that's because the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, and I know everybody hates to hear that, I feel are the two top teams that are going to challenge for the World Series this year.
But I feel like that's every year, though, right?
Right. But I feel like this year it's even more interesting with Boston as your defending world champs, and the Yankees have had some nice additions this year. My mind just went blank. I'm sure Matt can fill us in on who they added. I don't know. I was about to say a whole bunch, and then I just...
Yeah, like definitely one of the big ones. James Paxton starting pitching.
Yeah, James Paxton from formerly of the Seattle Mariners. That was a huge
OKC
addition.
Mariners?
Yes.
Gio Gonzalez, which we talked about that the other week. He's on a minor league contract, but by playoff time, he could be back up on the Yankees roster.
Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, Troy Tulowitzki. That's another, low risk, high reward type signing they had. It's going to be interesting between them and Boston. Obviously the Astros are going to be there.
What about Mariano Rivera? Is he going to get them a win over the Red Sox finally?
He's just there for moral support.
Okay.
But I don't see anybody, I don't want to go ahead and jump into our predictions because we are going to go division by division, but I don't see anybody challenging outside those three teams in the American League.
Yeah. In my opinion, AL is super top heavy. You've got those three teams that you mentioned. AL Central, it can potentially be kind of jumbled up. We don't really know how Twins are going to show. The NL East, though, that's the one I'm a little bit more excited about.
And I know you are a Yankees fan. We should add. So
I am a Yankees fan.
I am a Yankees fan as well.
Oh my God!
But I haven't watched. I'm gonna be honest with you. For 10 years. So anytime I mention a player,
it's a good time to stop.
Yeah, and anytime I mention a player, it's obviously someone that has not played for a very long time, and I'm doing that on purpose. But can Cal Ripken and the Orioles, can they come back and possibly get the division?
They're going to challenge.
They're going to challenge for worst team ever.
Oh, man. Cal Ripken's probably like 70 years old now, too.
I don't know what he's up to. He's building baseball camps all around the world.
Let's play a game while we're here. How old does everybody think Cal Ripken is?
70.
I have the answer right here.
I say 58.
My God, it's right on. It's right on 58. Yeah,
He's a lot younger than I thought he would be because he always looked like he was in like his mid 50s.
He really did. Even when you look at like his rookie pictures, he looks old. Or not old, but he just always looked middle aged his whole life.
Yeah.
Well, when you're playing in all those consecutive games, it takes a toll on you, you know?
Yeah.
Gray hair starts coming out.
But I guess we'll jump into, we'll start off here with the American League East. ESPN, they're experts. They, the leader with 16 votes was the New York Yankees, who they chose. 14 was the Red Sox, and one guy went with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Rays are good.
They were. They they started slow last year, but they came on strong at the end. And didn't they almost make a wild card?
They were close. I can't remember the exact record, but it was definitely close.
I know they had I think that bad start was kind of what killed them there at the end. And they actually shelled out some money. Who was it that they re-signed within the last week? Was it Blake Snell?
Sounds familiar. Can't recall, though.
I can't come up with any witty players that played like 20 years ago. So I can't comment on the Rays.
Yeah, Fred McGriff, the crime dog, baby.
I'm gonna take the Yankees, but I think it's gonna be one of those races that come down to the final week. What are your guys' predictions?
I think A-Rod will finally get redemption for knocking the ball out of the Red Sox player's hand in the AL Championship Series.
What a legend.
That's what I'd take.
I would have to agree with that. I think A-Rod will help the Yankees win the division. I think it may be interesting scenario with the Yankees and the Red Sox both getting over 100 wins, though. So it's going to be tough. Which one comes out, who knows? But I'm picking the Yankees.
And it's going to be crucial, I think, because most likely these two teams could be playing in the ALCS, and it could come down to a Game 7 in Yankee Stadium, or it could come down to a Game 7 in Fenway Park.
So you think one will be the 1 seed and one will be the 4 seed, probably?
Well, yeah, because unfortunately, if you don't win your division, you're stuck in that wild card situation, even if you do win like 110 games and still lose the division.
See, that's what's so dumb about the MLB and the NFL is they're dinosaurs when it comes to playoff scenarios. The fact that we don't have 6 teams in the playoffs in 2019.
What I would do, and I'll go back to how I think the NBA should do it, is I would just re-rank everybody when you get to the playoffs. I would almost I hate I'm jumping into the NBA, but I've always thought this for years. When they get to the NBA, just split up the East and West and re-rank the teams. Have like the number 1 seed play like the worst record, and so like that.
You mean like?
Would that be a mix?
Yeah, I would mix them up. Now, in baseball, I don't know if I would do it just because traditionally I don't. Just because
it's about tradition. It's about tradition.
I don't know. I feel weird about baseball because it's just like it's like a pastime to me. Like kind of like if the National League goes with the DH in the next few years, that would just it would feel weird to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do agree. Like it's kind of weird how you can have like the second best record in the American League, and you go in as like the wild card and have to play on the road.
Especially if you're probably the second best team in the entire division or conference, rather, because in reality, does anybody really care about the AL Central or the Astros in the West?
I'm a Detroit Tigers fan. I absolutely we'll get to that later.
we go ahead and start talking about the Central and what we think's gonna happen.
Yeah, because we've already did our East. The Central, I'm going to go with the Detroit Tigers, and I'm going to tell you why.
My God.
We got Max Scherzer. We got Justin Verlander. We got Rick Porcello.
Wake up, Logan. 2019.
We got Miguel Cabrera, JD Martinez. Oh, wait. We're not in 2012. This is actually, as crazy as it may sound, this is going to be an interesting race. I don't know if they're going to affect much of the overall American League standpoint going to the World Series, but the Indians and the Twins seem like the top two teams, but I feel like the Twins could challenge the Indians this year. The Indians have the better overall roster, I think, but the Twins, they were kind of one of the surprising teams last year.
I think
overall, I'm going to take the Indians, though.
That Ivan Rodriguez and the Chicago White Sox will take it all.
Pudge?
I always call him I-Rod for some reason. I don't know why.
I-Rod? Is it because A-Rod?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say I'm big on the Indians as well. I like Jose Ramirez. I like Kluber. I don't think Minnesota. They might get close to them, but I don't think that division's going to be too close outside of the Indians being in first.
You guys just wait. In 2 years, the Tigers said they will start buying free agents again.
2 whole years?
Yeah, they said 2021. I guess after they get their rookies in there and stuff and tank. That's just crazy to me. Why wouldn't you just go ahead and buy?
Yeah.
Will Juan Gonzalez play for a team in the Central this year?
I hope so, man. We could use Juan Gonzalez. He actually was a Tiger.
Right.
In 1999, we were a terrible ball club, and we decided to all of a sudden just sign all these high-priced veterans. We thought it was going to give us over the hill. It was kind of like the equivalent to the modern day Brooklyn Nets when they got Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and all those guys and thought they were going to win. The Tigers did that in the late 90s, and nothing happened. They just ended up with high-priced contracts.
Yeah. I'm fine with the Indians going over.
What about the West?
Obviously the Mariners, and I say that as a 1999 Seattle Mariners fan. I feel like that we had it all in regards to Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, Aaron Rodriguez, A-Rod. We had Ichiro.
Aaron Rodriguez.
Wait, why did I just say Aaron Rodriguez? No, I said Aaron Rodriguez. Alex. I don't know what's going on right now. And then we had a really good DH.
Edgar Martinez.
But I feel like there was a big white guy, though.
Hell yeah, there was. It was Jay Bunner, or however you say his last name.
Right, yeah. God, how could I forget about him?
Buhner,
I think.
Buhner.
But that was one team that could have won it all. But obviously, they choked in the playoffs, so.
Yeah, that's when you look at the grand scheme of things, that's one of the greatest teams to probably never win a World Series. they're kind of in that. Sorry, Brett, but they're kind of in that tier of the Braves teams. Even though they did win one World Series, it was a team that should have won multiple.
Chipper Jones used to play for the Richmond Braves, so yeah. Shout out to Chipper Jones.
He doesn't listen to our podcast, most
Uh-huh.
likely.
Does Richmond still have a
Yes.
minor league team?
Flying Squirrels. I think they're double.
No. That is amazing.
I'm taking the Astros in the West, but actually I'm going to take them by a large margin. But I personally will be pulling for the Angels because Mike Trout's my dude.
I am wondering, does George Bush still own the Texas Rangers?
I think our owner.
That's actually a good question.
I'm not sure. I just remember George Bush being a owner of the Texas Rangers at one point.
He's a part of an investment group that's headed. And an oil tycoon sold the team to him in 1989 for $89 million.
Gotcha.
That sounds like a bargain for an MLB team.
Especially in 1989. Well, that was probably more expensive at that time.
Yeah.
I guess nowadays you'd be up in the billion for sure.
Absolutely.
Unless you're like the Rays or something.
Or the Arizona Diamondbacks. You want to start talking about the National League East?
Well, I guess we kind of already talked about it. I was going to say wild cards, and I'm going to go with the Red Sox since I took the Yankees in the East.
Okay.
Even though it is one game and anything can happen, I'll take the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Same.
Because they'll most likely throw out Chris Sale, and he'll go out there and just dominate.
So let's go ahead and talk about the NL East, and I'm going to go with the Montreal Expos.
Nice pick. Well, ESPN 13 writers picked the Nationals, 11 picked the Phillies, 5 picked the Braves, 2 picked the Mets. I'm going to go with the Braves. That is one of the funnest young teams to watch in the league, and they're kind of ahead of schedule, but they don't realize that they should be like winning right now, so they just continue to win. I just think they're a fun team to watch.
Turner Field?
No, Turner Field is cooked, man. I think Turner Field is now used by the Georgia Southern college football team. That's where they play football.
I didn't know that.
But I will go with the Braves. I don't think the Phillies are. I mean, the Phillies are going to do all right, but I like the Braves better.
Does Mike Piazza still play for the Mets?
Yes.
That was my dude back in the day.
Right?
I loved him.
And then you had the Subway Series in 2000.
When Roger Clemens clocked him and knocked him out.
I do remember that.
Like he was knocked out cold.
That was the peak of the Subway Series right there. I just get hyped thinking about that time. Oh my god.
Now you look at the Yankees and Mets rivalry, and it's just like,
Oh
yep.
yeah. I think the Nationals will still come out on top in the NL East. And
Well, Bryce Harper did say he wants to bring back a title to DC.
it's going to be interesting how he accomplishes that in Philadelphia. I think that this whole division is like way too close. All the predictions I'm seeing, everyone's going to have like over 80 wins. So I'm going to take the Nationals, but easily Braves, Philadelphia can sneak up there.
And
Mets are even in it.
And the Nationals actually had some very good sneaky moves in the offseason. They've lost Bryce Harper, but they added Brian Dozier, Yan Gomes, Matt Adams, the big cat, and Kurt Suzuki. And also, starting pitcher-wise, they picked up Patrick Corbin from the Diamondbacks. And
That was big.
Anibal Sanchez. And then for reliever, they picked up Trevor Rosenthal, who was always pretty solid for the Cardinals. I think they might have a better overall roster now than they did previously with Bryce Harper.
Why does everyone hate the Marlins now that Jeter is owner? I thought that Jeter was going to bring good things to Miami. Is that not the case now?
Doesn't seem like it. No.
I think the reason everybody hates him is because he literally, they had good talent when he first bought the team, and, he traded everybody and just cut them, the first year.
Fire sale.
It was a fire sale. In the long run, it's probably a smart play, though.
Is that similar to... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I know what he's doing, and people just need to be patient with it. He's building a winner for the long term with rookies and stuff. It's kind of like the Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA or the modern-day Houston Astros in the MLB. He's got a plan. It's just going to take a bit.
Trust the process. Now,
yeah, and
is that equivalent to what the Mariners did in the late 90s?
The late 90s was... I don't know what they were doing in the late 90s. They won their first World Series, I think, in 96 or 97, and they cut the team after they won to cut payroll. And then they did the same when they beat the Yankees.
Yeah.
They got rid of Josh Beckett immediately. Miguel Cabrera got traded to Detroit for nothing. That team was very good, could have won a few World Series, and they just cut it all for payroll reasons.
Now, I'm surprised that the MLB did not come in and say, what the fuck are you guys doing? That's just...
I don't know if they can.
Yeah. Not like the NBA and the MLB.
When they ruined the Lakers from getting CP3 back in the day.
Yeah. I have to say I'm a pessimist. I don't think Derek Jeter knows what he's doing. And I say that he's my favorite player ever. But he's going to end up destroying the fan base.
Did the Marlins already have a fan base?
I know only one in real life, but
at their stadium, don't they have something you can swim in a fish tank or something while you watch the game? Is that
that's Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay has a pool full of rays.
Oh, I thought Marlins were they did a segment on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and they were talking about overpriced stadiums, especially with the taxpayers paying for them. And I feel like that the Marlins have a stadium that is just overly ridiculous, and they have fish out on the 320
they do.
Yard
they have
line.
An aquarium behind
yeah, they used to have this ridiculous monument. It looked like a monument to Lisa Frank. Those photos. But I think they got rid of that.
They did.
Yeah.
And that really makes me upset, even though that thing was random and probably shouldn't have been there. But I like that thing.
It needs to be in a museum, and I hope they moved it there.
You know what makes me upset even worse, and Matt will agree with me, because I don't know if you'll remember this, Nick, but the hill that the Houston Astros had, that made me so upset they got rid of that. I mean, I know it was random and it probably caused a lot of injuries, but I remember that just being so unique. I thought that was awesome.
For the pitcher's mound?
No, there was this big hill just randomly in the outfield, all the way out in center field with a pole in it, so people could literally run into the flagpole while they're trying to catch the ball.
After they sprained their ankle.
Yeah, that's exactly why they got rid of it. But I thought it was so awesome.
It was probably a liability.
I used to play all the MLB games, and it would be crazy because you'd go and make crazy catches off the hill and stuff.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this like Tony Hawk? Jesus.
No.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and go to the NL Central. I will say this was one of my favorite leagues in the late 90s, especially when you have Mark McGwire on the Cardinals and Sammy Sosa on the Cubs.
I'd agree. I was really into that home run race as a kid.
And I will say that I don't care that they were on steroids. It was still really exciting, and they did not do any danger to themselves, and they made the league a lot of money, and they made themselves a lot of money.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as a kid. I had a Mark McGwire Big Mac shirt that said like Big Mac chasing the record.
Oh man, tough scene. I just remember him having to take the fifth on Capitol Hill.
Oh man, what a time that was.
That was awkward.
Surreal, really.
Outside of that, I don't really have anything else interesting about the NL Central.
The NL Central, I'm going to go back. I think the Cubs bounced back this year.
Ken Griffey Jr. used to play for the Reds. I remember that.
While they didn't, they added some good role player pieces like Daniel Descalso from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Actually, that's all they added. But yeah, they didn't really add anything at all. But but they still have a solid roster.
Oh yeah, they can bring in offense. I think I would go with Vegas and say that the Cubs are probably going to take it, but the Brewers as well. I was super impressed with them last year, and Christian Yelich, he's amazing as well. I think they could also hop up in there. The difference between those two teams will probably be less than 5 games, I would say, and one or the other easily could be like a wild card spot. So I'm going to go against the grain and say the Brewers steal it this year, and the Cubs are going to be playing in the wild card game.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If you're interested in what ESPN went with, they went the Cubs with 12 riders, the Brewers with 10, and the Cardinals with 9. So they agree it's going to be close.
I got the Pirates because black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
It's the closest thing to the Steelers, right?
Right. Well, it's all of the teams in Pittsburgh have the same colors.
That is kind of. I've always thought that was cool. Oh, I also forgot that the Cardinals added Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh yeah, he got a big fat deal.
I remember Colts. Sorry, you're probably gonna mention the same thing.
What is it?
When you got that Paul Goldschmidt like drawing thing from the fan packs.
Oh yeah, that was so bizarre.
So there's this thing, Nick, like you can send like an email to like all the team organizations and like tell them you're interested in getting like a fan pack. And what they'll do is like they'll send you just random miscellaneous like sports gear from their teams. Like I did it for a few teams. Like I got an Oklahoma City Thunder pin, like a writing pin.
They sent so much garbage to me.
It was a lot of terrible stuff. I got like some dirt from Fenway Park. That was like one of the cooler things.
Yeah.
There's probably some dead bodies in there. So you got some dead body DNA.
Yeah. So like Matt got a coloring book from the Diamondbacks.
What?
That's the thing. It's like I spammed the hell out of it. I mean, I probably sent out like 50 emails in total. And I feel like a lot of the baseball teams, all of their fan packs were like usually geared towards toddlers. So you got coloring books, you got stickers of the mascot to put on your sippy cup.
That's pretty badass.
But you got the colored Paul Goldschmidt. Like, let's go ahead.
I have to say, like, of all the cool things in that, the Panthers sent me an actual autographed photo of Cam Newton. As crazy as that sounds.
Was he in a pimp outfit?
Thing.
Say what?
Was he in a pimp outfit?
No, he didn't have any like an Arby's hat on or anything like that. He did. I think he has a towel over his head. Actually, now that I think about it.
Do you overthrow things now that you got the autograph?
Yeah, everything.
let's go ahead and move on to the West. I think that Randy Johnson and the Arizona Diamondbacks will take it in the West again.
I'm going with the Dodgers. They just still have a loaded roster.
Dodgers hands down.
Then you have just like the random miscellaneous signing of like Machado to the Padres, but they still don't have much else.
You know, I feel like with teams like the Rockies and the Padres that there should be a relegation league. So you get teams from AAA and send teams like the Rockies and the Padres down, because you never see anything come out of the Rockies or the Padres.
Well, the Rockies are like one of those teams like every 15 years they randomly make the playoffs.
But nothing else happens.
No, they did have to make the World Series in the mid 2000s randomly, but then got just smacked by the Red Sox. But never forget Larry Walker. Walker, man,
what a beast!
Who was the other guy? Todd Hilton.
Yeah.
Well, we want the Dodgers, and ultimately, what is everybody's knee-jerk reaction for the World Series? Who will play and who is your winner?
I think Babe Ruth comes back from the dead.
Like the Undertaker? Like,
yep.
the lights go out.
Uh-huh.
Who does he come back for though? The Yankees or the Red Sox?
Oh.
I think there's going to be a clone involved, so it might be the Yankees and the Red Sox in the World Series.
No, they can't. They can't.
Why
But it
not?
can be like Game 7 of the ALCS, and the game's about to start, and the lights cut out, and the Undertaker's gong goes over the speakers, and like Babe Ruth comes out from like the bottom of the pitcher's mound. And he's just slowly walking, and he like doesn't know which way he's gonna go, and then like he picks one of the teams. Like,
Yep. And then he points the bat.
he
Center
choke
field.
slam. He like choke slams like one of the managers.
Aaron Boone. Hell yeah. That is the
The
dankest
greatest.
timeline.
That would be the greatest baseball moment of all time.
But I think it should happen in the World Series, though. I think they should just say screw the NL, because nothing comes out of the NL. Let's be honest here. It's all about the AL.
I agree. American League for
Yeah.
life.
So just ban the NL and just have the Red Sox and Yankees in the World Series.
The world would explode. It'd be like if Carolina and Duke played in the NCAA championship.
Which I'm surprised. I was reading the other day and I found out that they've never actually played in the tournament.
No. Well, I guess we don't want to jump into it too quick, but like they try their best to keep conference teams out of the same conference if possible. The only issue now is like the ACC has so many good teams, like they get 10 to like 11 in every year. Like you still run into issues where it's like Virginia Tech versus Duke, like they can't help it.
Yeah, for a lot of people at work today saying that they wanted to go to the game in DC, but that it's like $400 a ticket.
Duke's probably going to just come back and smash them.
That's unfortunate.
Like I'm just going to say the talk for the tournament for a bit, but I got some thoughts on the game that was played over the weekend.
Okay.
Ultimate World Series prediction. I'm going to take the Yankees. They will win the World Series over the Dodgers. That's very just easy pick, but I really think those are just the two best teams from their leagues.
I personally think the Astros are going to go to the World Series from the AL. Unfortunately, they've got the Yankees number though, and I think that they will also beat the Dodgers in the World Series.
Yeah, it feels like every time the Yankees are there, though, like they always run into the buzzsaw of Justin Verlander.
Yeah, I just have to say I'm not confident in the starting pitching this year, and I'm worried. I'm worried about people like Luis Severino and stuff. It's not going to be healthy.
And I guess that's why they kicked the tires on some veterans.
Yep.
Who do you got, Nick?
Yankees over Cincinnati Reds.
Oh. Okay.
You should place that Vegas bet right now.
There's been crazier things. Like baseball, if you're going to take like an underdog, that's like the one time to do it is like baseball. Because it does happen more commonly in baseball, teams sneaking up than any other sport. Actually, there was one person on ESPN that picked the Reds for the wild card. So if that makes you feel pretty good about your pick.
I'll totally forget we had this conversation. So it's okay.
But I wonder if that was a Reds beat writer that picked that.
Probably. I really think the Reds look pretty good. I've been watching them in spring training.
Hey, we said the same thing about the Arizona Hotshots.
Didn't something... Oh, I'm trying to think. If it was Hall of Fame voting for baseball last year? Someone got a ridiculous single vote.
It was like a player, wasn't it? Oh, it was for like Cy Young or MVP or something. Wasn't it?
Can't remember.
Because like it should have been a unanimous vote for like Mike Trout or somebody, and like somebody ruined it because it could have been like the first person to ever like go unanimous or something.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
And one guy ruined it, and like it all blew up.
I think it might.
And, like,
it's okay though. He's making $500 million. So we'll go ahead and move on to March Madness. Sweet 16 is upon us, starting on Thursday. But we'll go ahead and give our reactions to the round of 64 and round of 32 this past weekend. It feels weird not having any more college basketball in my life outside of these 4 days. So, Logan, what was your game of the weekend?
They're Duke and UCF.
UFC.
You know, they took on Conor McGregor
Jesus
and Anderson
Christ.
Silva and Cain Velasquez at center.
Brock Lesnar at power forward.
Yeah. No, UCF. Like, I didn't get to see the first half, but I was following on my phone. I was at my mom's for dinner, and like, I kept feeling like Duke was just going to run them out of the building because like UCF started with the lead early, and then Duke like near the second half got on near halftime got on a run and went up like 6 or 7 at the half. But UCF fought back and got the lead to 6 at one point. But then it kept looking like Duke was going to take it back, and in those final few minutes, like UCF took the lead, and like with 1:30 left, they're up 4. All they need to do is just pull the ball out and work about 35 seconds of the shot clock. They go for this crazy alley-oop play, which actually should have been very easy to convert, but it didn't work. And it just felt like that shifted all the momentum, and Duke won the game. And then we had to, obviously, the tip in at the end that like rolled in and out. And then we'll always have that moment where Zion choked, but nobody will ever remember he missed that free throw. Except for Nick.
Yep. I was there. I remember it.
Weren't you driving watching the game?
No, I was at home.
Oh, okay.
I was not distracted driving with Duke and UCF. I think that UCF could have put the nail in the coffin, and I'm sure a lot of people are saying this, but I'll say it anyways. Had they not blown that alley-oop, it would be UCF versus Virginia Tech this weekend.
Yeah. Shout out to our podcast for calling Duke was going to have trouble last week.
Because
we said on the
Taco.
podcast. Yeah. But actually, you know, we did say Taco, but Dawkins had a great game, even though he had like the 2 plays that for the rest of his life he'll think about it, like the alley-oop, just dropping the ball, and then the tip in. Like, I can't imagine like living with that. Like, I feel like you're just going to think about that every single day. Like, what could have been?
Yeah. We would be living in a different timeline, man. The day timelines.
Because I still live with, like, sporting moments from, like, when I was a kid, like, every now and then. Like, I'll be like, man, I remember back in, like, Optimus Ball, like... Does anybody ever remember, like, sports moments like that randomly?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just like, man, what if, like, when we played intramurals in middle school, what if we didn't blow that 8-point lead and with, like, 2 minutes left? Like, when our center randomly shot a half-court shot with, like, 1 minute and 30 seconds left because he thought he was open.
For me, it was Maryland beating George Washington in the NCAA tournament in 2001. Or was it UNC Wilmington?
Oh, yeah, Wilmington. Or was it UNC Greensboro? Where, like, the Maryland kid hit, like, the runner, and then, like, they just all ran off the court celebrating.
I thought it was GW for some reason, but...
I know the game you're talking about,
UNCW sounds more reasonable.
I remember that. That was, like... Was that the year Maryland went to the national championship? Or the
I think
year
they
after?
won that year.
Okay. I remember they had Juan Dixon. That was their star player.
Oh, I hated Maryland in the ACC.
And it's funny, though, because, like, at that time, they were like Virginia is now, like that third team in the ACC.
Yeah.
That's when they had that coach that looked like the mayor from The Grinch. I can't think of his name.
Gary Williams. I always said that Gary Williams looked like what a fighting terrapin would be.
He does look like the mascot as well. Like, I never seen anybody sweat so much either. Like, every time they would show him, like, his suit was, like, just full of, like, sweat. Like, it just looked like somebody poured, like, a bucket of water on him.
That's pure liquid passion coming out of his pores.
I just know that I'm very happy that Darryl Strawberry, or it might not have been Darryl Strawberry. There was
his son played for Maryland, DJ.
There was a player for Maryland that thought he was going to get drafted and went early and left Maryland, and they kept talking about him all night, and then he never got drafted. This is like either 2004 or 2005, maybe even 2006. I don't remember, but he essentially was not drafted because everybody thought he was going to, and then he wasn't allowed to go back to college and play because he didn't have an agent.
I tried to do a quick Google search, but I can't figure out who it is. I think I do remember that.
But it was a guy. I just remember him having a lot of acne scars.
Sadly, that happens a lot, though. Kids leave way too early, and end up kind of as a G League player their whole career in the NBA. I know NC State had a guy a few years ago that left way too early, and he's in the G League now and just should have just stayed at NC State.
The G League's okay to play in now.
Yeah, it's actually, the pay's a lot better than what it was 5 years ago. Like, it's actually, you can make a living off of it.
Yeah. But my game of the week was UVA going over Gardner Webb. And I say that because
you were scared at the half.
Scared of the half. I was having a meltdown saying that if Virginia lost, we would never talk about March Madness on this podcast again, and I would never watch college basketball again. But we got the monkey off our back. And Tony Bennett is such a good coach, and I don't know how anybody could dislike him. I don't think anybody does. Everybody just loves Tony Bennett, which is great as a UVA fan. For me, though, I definitely liked what we were able to do against Oklahoma, and we got back to fundamental UVA basketball, even though that really has only been a thing for like a couple years now.
It's like grinded out basketball. Like
Right.
You just play tough defense and like
The fact that we missed so many threes against Oklahoma and yet still won by 13 points is amazing.
So does Oregon scare you any?
they're hot.
Well, as a UVA fan, I believe that anything is possible.
Historically, this is a game that UVA would lose.
Correct. I didn't even have UVA going to or even winning the championship at all in any of my brackets. So I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm going to wait to see what happens. I can't really give a prediction on it because I really don't know what's going to happen.
You know what this reminds me of? Oregon, I feel like they're in the same spot. They kind of like that underdog role that Syracuse was when you guys lost to them in the year that maybe you should have won the national title or got at least to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that.
Oregon's a team that we should beat, but we'll be up 20 points after the first half, and then we'll blow it in the second half because we hit our threes.
Oregon is scary, man. Like they've won like a whole bunch in a row.
12 in a row.
Yeah. They weren't even supposed to be in the tourney.
Right.
I remember I called their Pac-10 win to get them in.
I think that if we're able to get our three in, Kyle Guy's on his game, and we play the way we did in the second half against Gardner-Webb and majority of the game against Oklahoma, we can beat them.
Ultimately,
defense.
I think you are going to win.
Well, that's good. I'm glad somebody has confidence in us. If UVA had lost to Gardner-Webb, should UVA had fired Tony Bennett?
No.
Yeah. No.
Why?
You think so?
I say that with it's just a hypothetical, but how can you go as top 5 ranked team in the country and in second year in a row losing the first round?
I mean, I agree.
Seed.
I look at it as is there going to be, unless you go after a high profile coach, is there going to be a guy to get you to the status where Tony Bennett's got you right now?
But has Tony Bennett gotten us somewhere?
You got a point there. You do have a point there.
Outside of being in the top 5 in the regular season and being a top seed in a majority of the tournaments that we have been in since 2016.
Right.
Sorry, 2014. We haven't. This is only the third time that we've made it to the Sweet 16. And
I guess. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Only once have we made it to the Elite 8.
I guess there's got to be a point where you somehow do have to take that next step and go through the glass ceiling and grab that brass ring.
Right.
I mean, the closest comparison I have this Virginia team to was 2 teams in the late 90s and early 2000s. The first was Michigan State. Tom Izzo, when he finally got his national title in 2000 or 2001, he had taken like several teams to the Elite 8 and the Final Four and just never got there. And then he finally broke through. And then the other comparison was Gary Williams, who we just spoke of, when he finally got his national title in the early 2000s. He literally was right on the verge of winning a national title several times. I know the year before they won, they lost to Duke. Like they had like a 15-point lead going into the half in the semifinals, the Final Four, and Duke came from behind and won and went on to, I think, win the national title. I could be wrong.
So you think
But
this
he
is a
had- he-
dangerous UVA team?
Yeah, I love the way they play. They're just they remind me of a college basketball version of the Detroit Pistons who beat the Lakers in the NBA Finals in the mid 2000s. Not like any real stars, like superstars. They had good players, but like it's just like they grind it out and they win. Or kind of like the Memphis Grizzlies when they had Zach Randolph, Mark Gasol, and Mike Conley. Like they play basketball the right way and just beat you. They beat you down and just win that way.
So is Kyle Guy Rip Hamilton and Ty Jerome is Chauncey Billups and
You need an Afro guy for Ben Wallace.
Diakite is Ben
And
Wallace.
who's your trash talker,
Rodman.
Rasheed Wallace?
Yeah. That can be Clark.
My new favorite high school team, by the way, is the team that Rasheed Wallace is coaching. That should be interesting.
Oh my God. That's in North Carolina, isn't it?
Yeah, on the East Coast. I can't believe Rasheed Wallace is coaching high school basketball. Is he going to last the whole season without getting suspended?
Yeah. This is how you get a technical foul, kids.
What was your favorite game of the week, Matt?
I love the Maryland Belmont game.
Yeah, that was a very good game as well.
I was really hoping Belmont would pull through, not only because I picked them to go on to the Sweet 16, but the last couple minutes of that game were pretty hectic, and it was like really competitive basketball. I wish that Belmont had more people than that Dylan guy. Can't remember his last name.
Yeah.
Now. Dylan Windler, because he kind of carried them a little bit. And Maryland just came and they had 4 players scoring in double digits. So too good to be true, man. I thought they were going to play better. I was high on them doing well, but not this year.
Yeah. Also Wofford.
Oh,
Like their best player just completely didn't do anything. Like if he just did something, they would have won the game.
yeah. That was that Wofford got a bad placement there.
They did. That was like the toughest bracket.
Put them in the West, and the sky's the limit. I feel like it just getting matched up against Kentucky in that second round was not good.
Yeah, I wish they would have been like in Duke's bracket, because I feel like in that bracket it was just Duke and Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and talk about our predictions for the Sweet 16.
Let's run through them real quick.
Yeah, Florida State versus Gonzaga. I got FSU.
I took FSU in my bracket. Like I had this predicted. I'm going FSU with the.
Yeah, I have to go with Gonzaga. I think they're going to score more.
I feel like every year Gonzaga is always your tournament team when you do a bracket.
It is. And I know that this year of all years is like a bad year to be high on Gonzaga, but at the same time, I got to trust my guy, Ken Pomeroy.
That's like one of those high upside situations. Like everybody's off of Gonzaga, but it's like you're there for the upside. Like nobody else has them. So if
Exactly.
you win some kind of pool, you'll win it because Gonzaga.
I'm desperate now, so Gonzaga win.
All right, Purdue versus Tennessee. I got 4. Was it Alex or was it Bill that was a big Purdue fan?
Bill.
Okay.
Because remember, I thought Alex went to Purdue, and he's like, "Dude, I didn't go to Purdue."
Yeah, that was Alex. Or sorry, that was
Yeah.
Bill. So for Bill, rest in peace, Bill.
He's not
I'm going
dead.
Purdue. He's not actually dead. I'm just being.
I didn't want people to send the sympathy stuff for no reason. I think I'm just gonna look at my bracket real quick. I'm gonna go with Purdue, but I was kind of curious to see who I picked in this situation. I had Villanova versus Tennessee. Whoops. I'm gonna go with Purdue just because I think the Big Ten it seems like their teams have just kind of like, I feel like they've kind of, well, never mind. There's not that many left, but I feel like in the first round, like they really proved themselves. I'm going to go Purdue. I wasn't really impressed with Tennessee the way they blew that 25-point lead to Iowa and almost lost.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think that UVA would have a better shot against Purdue than Tennessee.
I like Purdue as well, and I think they're due. It's been a really, really long time since they were in the Elite Eight.
Purdue, I always feel like they're just like, they're always that team in the Big Ten that's like consistent, but they've just never got over like the Sweet 16 hump.
They've made it the past couple years, I think.
Right. They've been to the Sweet 16, but they've always just been there. Like they haven't made that next big step that they need to make.
Well, that changes this year.
I hope so. It would be cool to see Purdue make a run.
Texas Tech versus Michigan. I got Texas Tech.
I'm going the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, I like Michigan too.
Ever since they got John Beilein as a coach, I just feel it's like they've been like an automatic like Elite Eight, Final Four lock the last few years. People forget like the national championship was Michigan and Villanova last year because like it was a weird tournament.
Matt, did you give your prediction?
I did. I agree with Logan. I think Michigan's going to win that game. They're just more experienced, I feel like, in this scenario.
Yeah. Then we have the number 12 seed, Oregon versus Virginia. Oh, man, it's time for me to give a prediction. I'm going Virginia. There, I said it.
I'm going Virginia.
Yeah. Same. Oregon can't stay hot forever.
UVA.
No.
Go, Who's go.
Virginia just has more depth as well. Like, they're just a better overall team, and they got a better coach. Even though we just had a talk about him.
Just have Diakite go 40 minutes, and I think we'll be straight. Did you see how monster he looked during the Oklahoma game? Like, the fact that he didn't really start until the end of the season is very telling. Like, Jack Salt's good, but I think Diakite just is on another level.
Yeah, college basketball can be like weird where like coaches like stick with players for like a long time because they have like a relationship with them.
Right.
Like Roy Williams for the Tar Heels, like he hardly ever plays freshmen. And now they got a Kobe White this year is kind of a different type of situation because dude's just awesome. But like they got Nasir Little, who was like number behind RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson in recruiting, and he has barely played this year. He has turned into the sixth man kind of at the end of the season, but he got no playing time early in the year. It's just college basketball is weird about that type of stuff.
So do you like how Tony Bennett is playing now in regards to the players that he's using?
Yeah, I mean, this time of the year, you play your best players. Like, you want to win, you play them.
Right, but normally, like you said, you have like a regimented starting lineup. I don't think I've ever seen UVA do this in regards to have a different setup.
Right.
Like, I wasn't expecting Clark to start.
Right. Hey, I mean, it gets to this time of the year, you got to have some balls to do something.
Right.
You play your best players. That's how I've always thought.
No,
I don't
right.
care about breaking somebody's heart. You gotta win the damn game.
No, I agree, and I think we have the mindset now to do it.
Right.
Would you say that we have a better team now this year than we did in 2016 with Anthony Gill and Justin Anderson, Brogdon?
I think your team that year was better.
Yeah. So, but you think we can get farther this year?
Yeah. I think the bracket's kind of worked out in your favor.
but the bracket worked out in our favor that year as well. Look what happened.
Yeah, I guess that's why they play the game.
Yeah, London Parentis
anything
couldn't make
can happen.
his shots.
Yeah,
and now he's a third stringer for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm pretty sure.
All it takes is somebody you can have your worst shooting night, and the other team can have their best shooting night.
Yeah, because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and that's what we almost saw with Duke and UCF. Is Duke there was a point where Zion still got hits with 32 points, but there was a point where they were just saying, "Hey, shoot the ball. We dare you to shoot the three," and it wasn't working.
Yeah. So moving on to Friday night games, third seed LSU versus 2 seed Michigan State. I go Michigan State just because LSU doesn't have a coach and they probably won't have a team this year.
I'm gonna go Michigan State. I'm gonna usually in the NCAA tournament it comes down to coaching a lot of the time. I just think Izzo's the better coach than I don't know who the LSU coach is. So Michigan State wins.
I agree. I think LSU should have got beat by Yale in the
They
first
should have,
round.
yeah. Yale they gave that game away at the end.
So I might just be bitter, but Michigan State's going to kill LSU, I feel like.
All right, moving on. 5th seed Auburn versus number 1 seed North Carolina. I got Bruce Pearl and the War Eagles of Auburn. Just to antagonize Logan.
I'm gonna go the Tar Heels. I think Carolina got a huge break. If Kansas wins that game, they get basically home court against Carolina. I'm gonna say Carolina wins this one, but their next game won't be so easy. In the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I think Tar Heels win as well, but I think
it's
this
gonna
is
be
also
tough.
going to be a good game.
It is going to be tough, yeah. Auburn's if they shoot like they did the other night, they will beat Carolina.
Yeah, their offense was electric that night.
Moving on, number 4 Virginia Tech, the neutered Turkeys, take on number 1 seed Duke. You can already tell I don't like Tech. I'm going Meteor into Capital One Arena, and both teams do not exist after Friday.
I'm going to add Virginia Tech did beat Duke this year, but it was without Zion. I'm just going to go with Duke. I know it made it look like I was going to do something crazy, but I'm going to go with Duke. I think they're going to be mad after that loss.
Yeah,
I mean, almost lost. They put him back in the tournament.
Oh my God, it's a 3-way! UCF is cashing in their Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, I take Duke.
I feel like Coach K has always scared me ever since I was a kid. And I just feel like after that UCF game, he probably ripped those players a new one like they have never seen before. So they're probably going to come out and thrash Virginia Tech.
Except for Zion, he probably babied him.
Yeah.
Because Zion could easily just take Coach K and just rip him in half. He's a scary
He really
dude.
could.
He looks like he just got out of jail.
Coach K has always actually looked like the Blue Devils mascot.
Moving on. Number 3, Houston versus number 2, Kentucky. I got Houston.
This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with Houston. I don't have a reason why. I just think Houston's going to win.
I like it. I like Houston a lot. I mean, they only lost 3 games this year.
And Ken Palm really liked them when I went over my bracket stuff.
I think Houston. That's who I want to win. I don't care about Kentucky. I'm so tired of Kentucky. They're about like Alabama. Me.
They are. They're
College
like the
football.
equivalent of Alabama in basketball. They're like roll blue, or whatever the hell they say.
So do we want to go ahead and give our Elite Eight predictions as well?
Might as well. Yeah, we can do that real quick.
I got Florida State. Virginia.
Thinking about some changes, or
No, I'm just trying to. I forgot how the bracket was.
because thankfully my Final Four's still alive.
Yeah. What did I say? I said Florida State, Virginia, Texas
You're missing-
Tech.
You're missing Duke and Carolina's region.
North
Can't be
Carolina.
Texas Tech because they're in Florida State. You basically just need to give your Final Four, I think.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'll give my Final Four. My Final Four: Florida State, Virginia, UNC, and Duke.
Even though you just picked Houston, or are you just gonna?
Wait, no, but I had Houston going to.
Oh yeah. No, you had Auburn beating Carolina though.
Well, I've changed my mind. They're doing a dusty finish.
I'm going. I'm just gonna stick with the Final Four I have: Virginia, Carolina, Duke, Michigan.
Yeah, that's the Final Four I have, but I want to change it. I think Gonzaga is going to make it. I think they beat Michigan.
I can see it.
Everyone's counting them out, I feel like. I know they're a 1 seed. That's always an easy pick, but
They're
no
like
one
the
is really big on them.
They're like the 1 seed that everybody just like, oh, they're a 1 seed.
Yeah, they're like the 1 seed stepchild.
They are.
So yeah.
And then next week we'll talk Final Four national champion again.
Yep. And then we'll be able to talk NBA playoffs. You want to talk about playoffs?
In a few weeks, we're almost there.
Well, I mean, yeah, in 2 weeks.
Hopefully the Hornets make it. They had another big win tonight.
Oh man, tough scene.
Heat were losing too.
Oh, did they end up losing?
They
Please tell me they lost. We're right back in this thing if they lost.
So we'll go
The
ahead,
Heat lost. Yes, the Hornets are still alive.
we'll go ahead and start talking about the AAF.
We had one mailbox question.
Well, we can have the mailbox at the end. That's the whole point of the mailbox. Is that,
Oh. I didn't know if you wanted to bring Alex on. He wanted to be on AAF talking.
yeah, that's why I'm getting Alex on.
Oh, is he here?
I should be.
Tip Bomb's on too. I forgot all about the AAF section.
We're contractually obligated to do it.
I know.
Even if we're just doing like a quick recap, like we did last week. And
I would almost just give quick thoughts. I didn't watch a single AAF game this weekend.
yeah, we'll have Alex give a recap, and then we can just do our bullshit.
Just kind of became our AAF expert.
Yeah,
With March Madness happening, I haven't paid any attention to AAF
Yeah.
other than Johnny Manziel.
I've kind of like gotten burned out a little bit.
I guess it's almost to the point where it's almost like too much football.
Yeah. Now
I feel like
too much football. Next year's gonna be bad.
I'm going to go back to my theory, or what I thought they should do is I think I would just run like summer league ball and lead up to like the regular season of the NFL. Because at that point, you're kind of like itching for football.
I think it's gonna be really bad with the XFL and AAF running together, and the fact that I have 5 home games in DC that I have to go to.
Can you get out of this? Like your deposit on the tickets?
Nope.
So you were a dedicated Washington XFL fan.
For next year.
First year.
I'm just hoping I don't have to spend like an egregious amount of money.
Oh, damn, Vince, you're already a billionaire.
Right, but like the fact that I put $100 down.
I'm pretty sure that's just a deposit.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, how much more am I gonna have to put down to get seats? You know what I mean?
They'll probably come out with like some kind of tier of what you can do.
Right, but more so like,
I'd make it like high school and you just pay like one fee and everybody just sits wherever the hell they want.
right, but like the fact that they're gonna have to make it pretty inexpensive to get people to want to go to the game.
Right. Especially to feel like, NFL stadiums, like they got MetLife. That's going to be weird with an empty stadium. Like they're going to have to tarp off the top.
Yeah.
I'm surprised MetLife let them have it, but I guess probably because they just are getting WrestleMania. There's probably some kind of deal or something.
Goddamn, pal.
You can be WrestleMania and XFL. I'll give you some cheeseburgers. That is not Vince McMahon's voice. God, I turned him into Sling Blade, man. Is he there? Or like...
He's on his way.
Oh, okay.
Guys, I'll probably hop off for the AAF section because I don't know anything.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. No, thank you for participating. Hopefully you enjoyed it and that we can.
Yeah, I needed some baseball help with me.
That was super fun.
Obviously, Nick's baseball is 10 years behind, so I can't wait for like 10 years from now, and he's like talking about like Aaron Judge and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I do have MLB TV now through T-Mobile.
Oh yeah, they got that good deal.
Yeah, so I can watch games whenever I want, and then I'll at least be able to like understand like.
You can do it for the
It's been good.
podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be like, "Oh, I just saw that home run."
Like I'll watch highlights. I can't.
I wonder-
watch like a full game because I'll like die.
I wonder if you're gonna have the hell that Logan and I experienced with blackouts up in Richmond.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sure I will,
God.
especially with Nats games.
It's-
Time to go pee.
What?
Can I pee?
Oh yeah. Sorry, your mic was like really low. Can I pee?
All I hear is B.
I'll be right back.
They so whenever Logan and I used to split it, like back in the day, and Braves games will be blacked out, Reds games will be blacked out, Orioles, Nationals. I think that was it.
And we like played fantasy baseball, and like we had these guys on our teams from like those teams, and like we wanted to see them.
It just it was so frustrating.
Especially like when your team had to play. Like if the Tigers were playing in Atlanta, like I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
Why are there so many blackouts, especially?
MLB's weird with stuff. Like any other sport, like you can go like Reddit, like Reddit NFL streams or football streams. Like you can't even do that for baseball. Like they are so like strict. Like you
They
can
watch
barely
it like
find.
hawks.
Yeah, you can barely find like highlights on MLB. I mean, on YouTube. Sorry.
It's just the coverage map for North Carolina. There's just so much overlap because North Carolina doesn't have a team. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any Reds fans. I don't know any Orioles fans either. I know one person. He's a transplant. So I don't know why that it reaches out so far, but
Yeah, it's always frustrated me. It was kind of funny though. You remember when the Hornets were the Bobcats, and like for like the first like 5 seasons or 6 seasons, you couldn't watch them like in our area.
Oh yeah, on Fox Sports South,
Yeah,
it was like
it always-
blacked out.
It always said it on the guide, but you couldn't watch it until they finally got a deal. Like when I became like an adult,
Yeah,
so I couldn't
After.
see like the Gerald Wallace years until like the end.
yeah, it was after the worst season. I feel like
I'm very
Yeah.
happy that you guys were able to resuscitate the body of the Bobcats.
Oh,
He was there.
Rufus.
Did y'all find his grave and just desecrate it and said, we need him back for a gimmick, brother?
Yeah,
We
we
did.
summoned him.
I miss Rufus.
What kind of black sacrifice did y'all do?
We took the blood of Emeka Okafor and we forced Adam Morrison to chug it.
Very nice.
Who was that white guy that
So-
always was just a shooter for us? Was it Matt Carroll?
Matt Carroll. He's-
I was going to say
He would
Lee
definitely
Harvey
be.
Oswald.
The Bobcats legend, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, he's a white shooter.
That's Bobcats years were pretty weird, man. Primo Brezic, like there was just Eddie House, like it was weird, man.
John May.
Sean May, were you excited like I was when the Bobcats drafted Sean May and Raymond Felton back to back in the
heck yeah.
draft, and thought we were like going to become like the next San Antonio Spurs
Yeah.
with like Tim Duncan and Tony Parker?
Just because they got UNC legends?
Yeah, because they just came off the national championship, and actually Sean May like played good his first 2 months, but like then he just kept eating and got fat.
Oh, don't we all?
Yeah, I know I did. I got married and just started eating, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. I feel you there. I got married like 6 years ago. I probably gained 100 pounds.
So I'm like fat now, so I can call other people fat because I feel the fatness.
Yeah, man. Man, when I'm around, everybody feels the fatness.
But all right, I guess we'll jump into AAF, and I guess we'll say our goodbyes to Matt.
As we go on, we remember.
Matt,
He
are you
didn't
not
die.
staying for the AAF part?
I'm dead.
You're
Actually.
dead?
Yeah.
You know what's not dead? My keyboard. I spilled beer on it a lot. It still works, except that you have to push really hard on the keys.
Did you chase down some Blue Chew?
Yeah, and and the result knocked the can over.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of which, when I was at work today, my boss was like, "Well, I need you to deliver this electrical conduit." I was going, "You have electrical conduit?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got a big electrical conduit for you right here." Robert, you're 60 years old.
HR, on human resources right now, mister.
I basically am HR.
Oh,
I am the one who knocks.
Over cans of beer with my erection.
Well, thanks guys for having me on. Have fun talking about AAF.
No problem. Hopefully you come on soon.
see ya.
I will if you allow me.
Absolutely. You're invited.
Okay. All right. Have a good one, guys.
See
You
ya.
too.
Bye. Oh man, I was looking forward to hanging out with him.
That was fun though.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of cool to have some baseball.
Hopefully
Experts.
he was totally cool with me being fake aloof about baseball.
I think in the end it was awesome because we got to talk about like a lot of vintage stuff
Yeah.
because it brought back some memories.
All right, so I'll go ahead and redo the intro. And now we have our third host back, Alex. Where have you been, man?
Dude, I've been peeing.
I know the pain, man. Especially with the threat of kidney stones. You just gotta chug all that water, man.
So I'm living here at altitude, and so I have to drink like more water than any human being has ever been built to consume.
Are you a camel?
Well, not biologically, but spiritually.
So how did y'all enjoy week 7 of the AAF, especially with March Madness going on?
I followed on Twitter and I had a good time following AF this weekend.
Yeah. What an unbelievable win by the Hotshots. I'll just say that. I know Alex was having a field day covering that game.
I enjoyed that one, and I also really enjoyed the Memphis Express game.
We are Sivers believers. Silver burgers.
It's not Silvers?
Silver burgers.
No, I mean,
Silver.
I'm legit asking. I don't know.
Oh, it's Silvers. Yeah, is his last name.
Okay.
I am a silver burger.
Which can
I've
I just
never
say, like,
Yes.
Silvers, the last name, is so much the last name I would give to the protagonist of my preteen comedy action book when I was 11 years old.
That makes tons of sense, actually.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get things started with recap of Week 7. Orlando Apollos going over Atlanta Legends. Ouch, 36-6. Logan, your take on this game?
Hang on. Let me pull up my no extra points.
NoExtraPoints.com, the place for everything AAF stats.
Follow them on Twitter too. At
The
No
Apollos,
Extra
they dominated from the get-go. Like, there was... we all knew what the result was going to be, and I feel like it just played out to what we all thought it was going to be. Smith kind of had like his equivalent to a Trent Richardson game, except he had a little bit more yards per carry. He had 3 touchdowns, but 13 carries for 40 yards on a 3.1 yards per carry. So he was kind of like the Trent Richardson vulture of the game. They just dominated from the get-go. The Legends never had a chance, but it was cool that the Legends had a good turnout for their crowd. That's just kind of a bright spot for them. Despite being terrible, they had a good turnout.
They had bad luck too. I mean, they got crushed by the Apollos in Week 1. And then last week they got crushed by the Commanders 37-6. And then this game was the Apollos again 36-6. I think the Apollos hung 40 points on them in Week 1.
So was the Hot Shots win over them last week? Was that a freak accident?
No, the Hot Shots had the tools to beat the Apollos, and they just needed to use them properly. And so they succeeded in that, and they got the win. But,
Son of a... Okay.
The Legends are like minus 114 in point differential now. Overall scoring.
Gotcha. So speaking of the Hot Shots, go ahead and go on. Hot Shots beating the San Diego Fleet 32-15. What a game. Wolford had several touchdowns. One was rushing. That was a crazy 35-yard touchdown.
Are the Hot Shots for real now?
Well, as it stands right now, they are the 2nd seed in the West playoffs, and they will play the Commanders. I don't know if they're for real. I don't know if they're the team that we thought they were after Week 1.
Is this the most up and down team in the league? Or is it San Diego? Or is it Birmingham?
I think the Shots are definitely the most up and down team. San Diego's fluky too, but the Hot Shots can look like the best team or the absolute worst team.
Right.
This Commanders game coming up is going to be the decider for me on whether or not they're actually worth being in the playoffs. Regardless, I think they will make it.
Yeah, that's going to be game of the week next week. Speaking of the Commanders went over the Salt Lake Stallions 19-15. Marquise Williams got a touchdown. That's the only highlight I know about. I'm just kidding, but yeah.
As another Salt Lake Stallions game where the defense won the game and the offense lost the game.
Tough when that happens.
To me. I can't stand it, number one. And number two, like, was that the game where the Commanders had scored the least points total? No, they had a 12-11 game back in Week 4 against the Iron. But, man, it was close. I was so bummed. That it seems like the Stallions can play up to their competition and just can't seal the deal.
Yeah, disappointing. But I'm sure that they could easily next year. I don't know the percentages right now. I think I saw it on AAF. I'm sorry, not AAF. I saw it on No Extra Points, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But I think the Hotshots have like an 86% chance of being the second seed.
Right.
Yeah, so the last game of the week, Memphis Express, holy cow, beating the Birmingham Iron 30-25. Thoughts?
Well, we got some Johnny Manziel action.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Logan.
A tiny bit. That's all I got to add. I am a Silverberger believer. I was never a believer in anybody else ever in this league. Only Silverburgers and Pig Howard burgers.
What is up with Pig and Bug Howard? Are those nicknames or are those their actual names?
That's a good question. That should be our mailbag question of the day.
Do they have any brothers or sisters? What are their names?
So we'll go ahead and go to. Actually, sorry,
before-
Alex.
Before we move on, that was the first game to go to overtime in AAF history. It was super exciting. The Memphis Express defense really showed up in that game. And what's amazing to me is that Johnny Manziel playing quarterback was not the most exciting thing about that game. Their offense and defense played better probably than at any point in the season, even when they beat the Fleet. I was just super impressed, and I can't believe that the game I'm most excited for next week is Memphis Express versus Apollos, when I thought that would be such a sleeper, or like a sleeper thrower game.
Right.
Now it's a real sleeper game.
Well, the Apollos are an official TNT team now.
Yeah.
That game will be on TNT instead of BR Live.
They sponsor. Yeah, they sponsor Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
Shout out to Trent Richardson for finally getting like over 3 yards a carry. He had 3.5 yards a carry.
It kills the meme in the subreddit, man. r/AAFB has a user that posts every week that he's going to post every week until Trent Richardson gets over 3 yards per carry in a game.
It's over, man. The streak's over.
Yeah, you should definitely check out the subreddit on Reddit. It's weird to say, but RAFB, the place to talk about AAF football.
That's the only place I go to talk about my AAF football.
Yeah, especially when I'm taking some Blue Chew.
Exactly.
And follow us on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw my stupid tweets that I put in the Discord.
Yes, that is www.twitter.com.
/AF Reddit. They had a really cool AMA with who was it?
Ryan Muller today.
Who is he?
He's a safety for the San Diego Fleet.
Yeah, I asked him, would he rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? And he said 100 duck-sized horses because if he saw a horse-sized duck fly, he would shit himself.
That guy was really funny. The subreddit has quietly had an AMA every Tuesday and Thursday for the last 5 weeks. And we've got an AMA every Tuesday and Thursday, what it looks like for the rest of the regular season.
Exciting times.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and move on to power rankings. Alex,
Yeah.
you got it number 8 this week.
the Legends.
Oh.
They're bad at football.
I am a Murray believer that they are number 8. Logan, you got a number 7.
I feel like this isn't as easy as it should be.
It's a Birmingham Iron, isn't it?
Well, I feel like it's like topsy-turvy the way these teams have been. Like, so Birmingham beats San Diego, but San Diego beats Salt Lake, and then Salt Lake loses to San Antonio, and then like all these teams are beating teams who have beat them. Like, it's like, who's good?
Well, after last week, there is an official parity in the AAF when the Hot Shots beat the Apollos. The
Right.
suck is real.
Number 7. Salt Lake.
Carter Schultz going to come through your house and kick your ass.
Love you, Carter Schultz. I love you every day.
Also, he's going to ban you from AAFB.
It wasn't easy, man. It wasn't easy. Like, I feel like 7 through like 5 and 4, it's like could all interchange.
Yeah. So I got Fleet in number 6. I think that's really good. Bill's going to be mad at me, but it's okay. What?
The Express impressed you that much, huh?
Yep.
He's a silver burger.
I got ass silvers. Whatever that means.
Did you say you have ass silvers?
Yeah.
Is that
That
like
sounds
silver?
painful.
It's like Asperger's, but ass silvers.
That sounds terrible. Like it would hurt really bad.
Yeah.
Itch.
So, Alex, who do you have at number 5?
The Express. It's way too high, but
Oh.
okay, I'll put him at number 5.
Okay. Logan, number 4.
We got who's the 4 we got? We got Orlando, Birmingham,
San Antonio.
San Diego, San Antonio,
And Hot Shots.
Birmingham.
I like it. Number 3. I got Commanders.
What? Are
Um,
you out of your flipping mind?
I got the Commanders because the Hot Shots beat the Apollos.
What the Commanders just our number 1 last week.
But I did it because
Because you're a mad man.
I'm an absolute mad lad.
Nutball. You're gonna make me put the Hot Shots at number 2.
No. You don't have to. You can put them at number 1 if you want. The Hot Shots have beaten the Apollos. And the Hot Shots have won 3 in a row. 2 in a row. 2 in a row. They've won 2 in a row.
No.
See, who do you have?
Detroit Lions.
Yes, Detroit.
I like it. Lions at number 2. Number 1, Logan.
The Arizona Hot Shots.
Excellent. That's how I like it. That's how we do things here on the Wednesday
What
Night
if we do
Sports
this fair?
Podcast. Huh?
What if we do it 0.5? The Apollos 0.5. The Hot Shots. We got a tie.
0.1, the Colorado Rockies.
Larry Walker.
Mark McGuire.
Steroids, get your steroids. Hot and ready.
Negative 0.01.
my true number one this week is the bird that Randy Johnson killed all those years ago.
That guy.
That PETA wanted to fine him or something.
I don't know.
After he hit the bird with the baseball.
Yeah.
You invaded their natural habitat and started hucking shit around. You yeet some leather straight into the side of that bird.
Who would win in a fight? The bird that fucked up Fabio's nose, or the bird that got killed by the baseball?
Well, it's a hard comparison because the bird that got hit by the baseball didn't even have a chance. It was a Randy Johnson heater, probably going like 110 miles an hour.
Unfortunately, Wasley lost a great bird on that day. This episode is it's a tribute to him.
Yeah.
That was a good moment of silence.
Rest in peace, little guy.
Yeah. So the Brothers Inside Jesus Christ fan club sponsored mailbag. What questions do we got?
Nothing. Lucas fan club.
The mailbox questions were actually
They changed names.
What?
Yeah, they are the Brothers in Jesus Christ.
I miss an hour of the show, and shit's just in disarray.
Okay, this is a very good question from your daddy at Brothers in Jesus Christ. Do you think the XFL and the AAF will become minor league teams for the NFL? Would that be a possibility? And maybe become a test ground for new rules for the NFL, kind of like the MILB, which is the minor league.
Ultimately, I want a relegation league so that you don't have teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Miami Dolphins and New York Jets sucking it up every year.